Hello, this is Jane183, and this is another episode of the Pierre career mode on F1 2016, Pierre's Path to Glory, and this week it is the German Grand Prix, round 12, so it's a pretty favourable circuit of mine. I'm quite a fan of it, and hopefully I can get a good result to follow up the recent results like second in Silverstone and fourth in Hungary, so it's been going well lately. So track optimization, it's a fully purple lap and easily purple score, which gets us 50 resource points. Then this is my qualifying pace test, and unfortunately Julian Palmer, who's also on a quick lap, completely ruins this lap, and he tries to squeeze me off the track. I go for a move, outbrake myself, go wide, and this lap is completely gone already because I'm on the curb. Then Palmer comes back at me and tries to force me off again, so I'm not sure what he's doing. It's a really slow car. Unfortunately that ruins this lap. You see at the end of this lap we're quite a long way down on the time. So unfortunately I couldn't pass that test because then my tyres were gone, and yeah, it wasn't very, I couldn't really get anywhere near the time. So it's in qualifying now. It is a wet qualifying session, which I'm a fan of because, as we've seen earlier in the season in the Monaco qualifying, I managed to get pole in these sorts of conditions. So here's my first lap in qualifying, and I'm currently 9th, I haven't set a time yet. Ricciardo's on pole. This is going to put me faster than Daniel Ricciardo on pole position provisionally, but only a few of the top runners have actually set times yet. So by the end of the session we're down to 5th place, but we're a long way up on the time. I think it's about 0.8 of a second up on my previous time, so that is going to put me very close to Max Verstappen's best time in the session. So where is this going to put me? I've got a pole in Monaco, can we repeat the feat here in Germany? I'm going to cross up to the line now, currently 5th. It is going to put me pole position, fastest in qualifying for the German Grand Prix. And that is the end of the session, so pole position then, the second one of the season. Unfortunately in Monaco I bottled it and only got like 8th places on it. So hopefully in this round I can at least get a podium because I've got the genuine pace here. And there's a bit of rain forecast for the race, so I'm hoping for the best. And let's get into the race then.
There's nowhere at all I'd rather be today than here at Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. We have an incredibly competitive field this year, which means we should be in for a treat. And judging by the sea of people filling the grandstands, there's a fair-sized chunk of Germany that agrees with me.
So race strategy, because you can see there's a bit of rain near the end of the race, so I'm going to go long in the strategy because it was a wet quali, so we can do it on the tyres. So soft to start, then mediums, and here we go. 5 red lights, can I get off to a good start in the German Grand Prix? Away we go. And it looks like a very strong start from Verstappen. Ricciardo's bogged down right behind me. We're alongside Max Verstappen into turn 1. This is going to be very close. He takes the lead, but I go right on the outside. A bit of track extending, but it's alright. I take back the lead. And now Ricciardo is going to lock corners with Max Verstappen. And he's going to go up the inside, but I'm going to hopefully just run away from these as these are battling. Only Ricciardo and Verstappen act as a roadblock and stop everyone coming up. And you can see on the minimap straight away we're about a second ahead just through the first sector. So that is a very nice start. Still in the lead, and with a little bit of a gap to the cars behind. So hopefully I can run away and maybe even claim a win here, because it looks like I've got the pace to go far and go a long way in this race. So let's look at a replay of the start then. 5 red lights, and it was an incredibly good start from Max Verstappen. He got a much better start than I did. It's about 4 wide in the background, but Verstappen takes the lead, but I managed to take a very wide line. Rosberg squeezes out Ricciardo for the time being. Then Ricciardo manages to get 3rd place back, and then even challenge Max Verstappen for 2nd. And this battle went on for about the first lap basically, so they're still side by side. The Red Bulls locking horns very much at the German Grand Prix. So Ricciardo's now got the slipstream on Verstappen. I already have a bit of a lead down towards the hairpin for the first time. It's a very big train behind them, but here we go. Ricciardo goes to move on Max Verstappen, goes up the inside of the hairpin, takes the position for the time being. But Verstappen gets a nice exit, so he's going to be still alongside, and it's going to be very, very close to the middle sector because it's narrow as anything through this section. So Ricciardo takes a position, I think. I can't really tell anymore because they're the same car obviously, but you can see the lead I've got already. It's about 3 or 4 seconds ahead of the 2 Red Bulls and Rosberg. So that is a very nice start. And on to lap 6, you can see on the mini-map my teammate Carlos Sainz is in the pits, and I'm not quite sure what he's doing. He's going incredibly slowly. It's almost like he's stopped, and he's actually been disqualified from the race. So that is very strange what's just happened there. He's in the pit lane, he's not moving, but then onto the 2 laps further on, and then it looks like Vettel has been disqualified as well. So I think Sainz's car is still in the pit lane, and it hasn't been gone because he's been disqualified. But now Verlaine's been disqualified as well. So I think Sainz has caused all sorts of mayhem in the pit lane, so I'm not sure what's going on. Now a safety car has been deployed for what on earth Sainz is doing, I'm not quite sure. But we've already got quite a bit of a lead, like 5 or 6 seconds over the 2 Red Bulls, with Verstappen and Ricardo. But safety car's come out, so I'm going to pit now. Hopefully the pit lane's cleared after Sainz has been disqualified. But you can see, this is like lap 6, and he's got a puncture, but it's a very, very odd puncture. I'm not quite sure what's happening, but he crashes into a Williams, which is a bit strange. But he's going incredibly slowly. His front left puncture looks nothing like a normal puncture. It's like smoking. It looks like it's almost delaminated, but most of you probably know that a puncture looks nothing like this normally. It's really weird. Like, punctures are normally just a flobbery tyre that just you can still drive on a bit. But this is like going all over the place. It doesn't know what to do. So this is very odd. There was an update on F1 2016 recently, so that might have changed something. But Verstappen Sainz just can't turn in. So he completely goes to the gravel in the last 2 corners, and he's going to try and get into the pit lane. But you can see his top speed is about 5 miles an hour at this point. It's incredibly dangerous. But this puncture is just, I've never seen something like this before. It's incredibly weird. So he's going to try and make it into the pit lane. It's going to take him about 3 minutes, which is why he got disqualified, because he was going so slowly in the pits. And I think the reason Vettel and Verline got disqualified is because they were stuck behind him. As you can see here, the tyres completely stopped spinning. It's going about 2 miles an hour, and then Vettel, Verline, and a Sauber are right behind him. So they're all stuck in the pits, and it's just very, very odd. I don't know what's going on. The update might have messed it up, but the tyre is smoking. It's not spinning at all. You can see on the front wing shot in just a second that the tyre just doesn't want to move. There it is. And I've come into the pits because of the safety car, but I'm not quite sure. It was a bit of a glitch with the game that he decided to, the tyre just didn't spin. But then unfortunately, because he's taken about 3 minutes to go into the pit lane, the team have been servicing him. So the race leader, Pierre, just cannot get serviced by his team because disqualified Carlos Sainz is hogging the pit lane. I sped this up. This is about like 4 times the speed. It's been 50 seconds and they haven't serviced me yet. Here we go. They're finally servicing me, but everyone's overtaken me. This is Julian Palmer going past me, and he's genuinely ahead of me now. So from the lead, we're now about 14th or 15th place, which is incredibly, incredibly annoying because it looked like a good result was on the cards. It could still be on the cards with how mental this race has been so far. 11th place after safety car, and Hamilton and Ricciardo are still in the lead. So the safety car's coming in, I go for a move straight away on Grosjean, but yeah, the flags are still out there. I'm going to go right on the outside to try and take 10th place, and that is a lovely move if it comes off, right on the outside of the last corner of Romain Grosjean in the Haas. And it looks like I've made it happen because I can just brake normally and he's going to mass brake early. I go around the outside, but then 2 more cars, Palmer and Nasser are going slowly. So we take both positions there, up into 8th after just 1 corner of the restart. And up into 9th, sorry, not 8th. And Haryanto is next car. It's a very mixed up grid at the minute because some cars have fitted, some cars haven't. It's incredibly difficult to see what's actually going on. But Haryanto, still on the first lap from the safety car restart, it's going very slowly. He's in a manner, of course. So I can go straight up the inside, force off the track a little bit, take 8th place now. And now Button and Sergio Perez are on worn tyres, so it didn't hit, I don't think. So hopefully I can close in on them and get past them very quickly because the leaders are only about 5 or 6 seconds up the road, and as you can see I've got the pace, so it might not be over yet. The pit stop has put it into jeopardy, but now I go up for a move on Jensen Button and I'm looking for a lunge on Sergio Perez as well, and I completely misjudged that and accidentally spin off Sergio Perez really badly. That was probably the worst bit of driving I've done this season so far. I feel sorry for the Mexican driver. I don't wait for him because it's savage, isn't it? But like, he completely gets spun by me. That's completely my fault. I take responsibility. He spins off a Haas of Romain Grosjean as well. So yeah, my fault. My bad, Perez. I'm sure we'll get over it. But now it's getting a bit cloudier on lap 16. It's taking me quite a while to close up to Massa for 5th place, but we have closed up in it now. So it looks like it's going to be difficult to try and pass him here, but going inside of turn 1, so set fastest lap while we're at it. Go up the inside, he turns in normally, so I can't make the move there. There's a yellow flag ahead. What's going on here then? And it looks like there's a Mercedes, there's Verstappen and Rosberg have crashed. And what has happened, I've completely missed the turn in, but here we go, a replay. Massa creamed into Verstappen completely. You can see at the bottom of the screen there, there's very violent contact. And Massa is going to completely smash into Verstappen and then crash into Rosberg as well. Here's a view from Nico Rosberg. Ricardo and Verstappen have been battling, so Rosberg tries to go for a move, Verstappen cuts him off, they both spin around, Verstappen loses front wing, Rosberg doesn't get any damage with it somehow, but then he gets completely hit by Massa, loses part of his front wing, and somehow everyone's come out of that unscathed, and no one's even retired from the race. But you have it from Rosberg and Verstappen. Verstappen's stuck in the middle of the road, Massa spears into the side of him, I managed to avoid it, but then go wide, but managed to take 2nd place because a few laps later Lewis Hamilton pitted. It's lap 22 now. and the rain has started to come down, and my tyre is about to blow up. So hopefully the rain comes down incredibly quickly. The engineer's saying pit on 2 inches, so that is music to my ears, because I was going to have to pit onto dry tyres very soon if the rain hadn't come then. So it's very, very good that the rain has come, because I can go straight into the intermediates. Hamilton's already made his second pit stop. Ricciardo hasn't, he's in the lead, so myself and Ricciardo are the big winners from the rain coming. So pitting onto intermediates now, hopefully the team can do a better job than last time and actually service my car within a minute of being in the pits. So the top three have got a massive gap from Sergio Perez in 4th, because of the incident with Massa, Rosberg and Verstappen sort of put them out of the race a bit. So Perez is now 4th after I spun him out earlier, but I come out the pit still in 3rd place. I've done a lap earlier than all the other guys, but the track is ready for intermediates at this point, very nearly, so it should be a good decision, because the tyres were going to go off that next lap probably. They'd have punctured and I would have been out of the running completely. So yeah, it's got very wetter now onto lap 24, and Hamilton is in the pits, so is Ricciardo, and so are a few back markers. So I've taken 2nd place off Lewis Hamilton, just behind Felipe Nasser now, who I overtook about 15 laps ago, which is just shows how different our races have gone since then. So yeah, it looks like 2nd place is going to be good. And now I get the weather, and I'm not sure, I think they're saying it's going to be heavy rain for quite a while still. But now, as you can see, Daniel Ricciardo is getting held up massively by Romain Grosjean, and I managed to close up a lot, and I'm only about a second and a half behind, but then Grosjean does his best to hold me up as well, which isn't very helpful. But yeah, Ricciardo getting stuck behind Grosjean. There's another few cars ahead on the minimap you can see, so maybe the win could be on here. I haven't had the pace to keep with Ricciardo during the wet periods, but I've had the pace to match him, and here we go, onto the same lap, halfway through it. Ericsson is in 15th place, getting lapped. He goes to the inside of the track to let Ricciardo through. So Ricciardo's going to have to battle Ericsson here, and Ricciardo goes through around the outside, and he gets completely run off the track. And I managed to take both of them, gone very, very slowly. I've taken the lead momentarily, but then completely outbrake myself and go really wide onto the Rolex signs next to the grandstand. And then Ericsson and Ricciardo both take the position back. So I took the lead momentarily, but then immediately bottled it and went really wide and gave the position back. So hopefully not do that again, but now we're going to lap Marcus Ericsson. He gets out of the way quite well for me, to be fair to him. He didn't get out of the way very well for Ricciardo, but that's not my problem. So here we are on lap 30, only 4 laps remaining now, and the rain is really coming down, but we're going to try and battle Daniel Ricciardo now for the win, and it looks like this could be the best result of the season, after topping that 2nd place of Silverstone. If we can take Daniel Ricciardo for the lead, if he goes slipstream, go to the inside of the track and down to the hairpin, this is the best chance that I'll have the whole race probably. Go for the move, but then go outbrake myself very much. Ricciardo does the cutback. He takes position back. He gets a better exit because I went really wide. Ricciardo's going to take the position back into the flat out right-hander, and I go right around the outside. Track extends a little bit, but I'm on the heavy wet part of the track. And Ricciardo manages to brake normally. He gets a better exit. I leave him the space. It's very difficult to keep up with as a commentator, but we're still side by side battling. I go right around the outside and take the lead from Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull. And now the win could be on the cards for Pierre and Toro Rosso. They've had one win before in their history, that was Sebastian Vettel back in 08. But then we've actually gone wide, and Ricciardo's going to come back around the outside into the stadium section. But we have the inside line, we can force him out. Hamilton's closed in quite quickly. Yeah, Sebastian Vettel has the only ever win for Toro Rosso back in 2008. So hopefully this is going to be maybe even match that if I can get one right here. But then Ricciardo is right behind me, so there's still 4 laps to go. So it's not over yet. And the rain might even have a say in it still. So I'm going to ask the engineer about the weather right now. And he says that it's going to be monsooning, and listen, he's saying heavy rain is going to stay. So it is a very, very difficult decision here, but I'm going to actually elect to pit onto the wet tyres, because I feel like if we stay on the inters, then we might just start falling off the track completely in the next 2 laps. Even though we're very close to the end, I feel like it's a good decision to pit onto the wet tyres. So I'm gonna take the brave decision, pit onto wet. So we've only got 2 positions to lose because the top 3 have such a gap. So I'm gonna come out in 3rd place. Hopefully it just absolutely lashes it down for the next 2 laps, and I can just Hamilton and Ricciardo completely fall off the circuit. I might be able to still get the win, but I just didn't feel confident staying out the intermediate, so I decided to pit onto wet with only 2 laps to go. It might seem like a foolish decision now, but in the heat of the moment, I decided it was the right thing to do. So 2 laps, can we close up? And unfortunately the answer is no. So I've still got 3rd place, but Lewis Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo have completely just not falling off the track at all. The rain did come, but not quite enough. So Hamilton has now won the race, but that is slightly irritating to me because the win was there for the taking, and I bottled the strategy completely. Pit onto wets for no obvious reason, really. Should have stayed out in Inters, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. And it's still third place for the Toro Rosso team, which is a very, very good result. But it's like the win was in my clutches there, and I let it go.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today. And now let's take a look at the
Lewis
driver's
Hamilton
stand.
wins the race from Daniel Ricciardo and myself. Jenson Button with a very strong showing in 4th place. Sergio Perez in 5th. Jolyon Palmer getting Renault's first points of the season up in 6th place. And you can just see how much of a topsy-turvy race this was as the mixed-up results of like Harry Anto in 8th, Rosberg down in 9th, and Verstappen 10th. 3 disqualifications and Raikkonen retired. Not sure when that happened, but yeah, very, very odd results with the Manor and Renault in points, which has been pretty rare this season. So Button jumps up to 10th along with Alonso. I closed the gap on Verstappen up to 5th place. He only got 1 point and I got 15, so it's looking good at the minute. So the gap is closing to the top 6. I'm nowhere near Hamilton, of course, but Alonso and Button jump up. Jolyon Palmer jumps up above everyone from 21st up to 16th with that strong showing in a 6th place, or 7th place I think. Can't quite see, but he's jumped above everyone. Only the 2 Sauers and Kevin Magnussen are yet to score this season, as Rio Haryanto gets points as well. So Renault jump above Sauber, not quite as high as Haas and Manor yet, but it's very, very odd, this season's results. So it looks like every team probably will score at some point, but now onto resource points. With the first driver bonus, that takes him up to 788, and that's going to be enough for an engine upgrade on the Toro Rosso team for the Belgian Grand Prix next time. So subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss that next time out. And this has been the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you have, and subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JM183, and I will see you next time.